All right, perfect. I am so excited to have all of you here. I'm so grateful. There might be some more that pop in, but we'll let them in as they come. So, just taking a minute, just taking a breath in. I know I always get nervous when I'm going to meet new people and lead a group like this. We're only going to be here about 30 minutes today, so it's not too long. If we go over time a little bit and you have to hop off, that's no problem at all. There'll be a replay. So, but I tend to over give. So I hope that's okay with you. So as we just kind of settle in, I would just invite you to check in with yourself and just ask yourself, okay, how am I feeling right now? And how am I coming into this space? Am I feeling nervous, excited, skeptical, curious, on fire? And you can just drop it in the chat if that's okay. And yeah, it's just always fun to see like, okay, where are we all at today? Good. All right. Mary Jo, she says she's coming in good. Yeah. We have a believer here that we've been designed to heal. Absolutely. Even greater healing in the future. We've got Melanie coming in from New York. She's tired, long day, but excited to be here. Tired but happy, anxious, excited. Sue says thumbs up. Yeah, Gina says, what is curious? What's this about? Yeah, and Heather just feels like this is good timing for her. I feel like it's good timing too. So welcome. I am Melissa. Some of you know me personally. Diana's my mom, everyone. She can wave. That's my mom. Yeah. So today, this is just a conversation. I don't have any, I usually have like a PowerPoint and I'm like coming in to teach you something. I'm not here to teach you anything. Just a conversation we're going to have today. And it's really an invitation to understand what does it feel like in life when you feel supported and resourced. And maybe those are new words for you. Maybe not support, but resource might be a newer word for you. So we're just going to learn today what does that look like? What does that feel like? Especially when it comes to how you're feeling emotionally, how you're being triggered in life, and also around just general health. Today, I'm also going to be sharing about my coaching container. So, we're going to be talking about Resourced, what my 6 month program is about. And then also, we'll be talking about what I do with my private clients. So, I also have private coaching and just kind of help you understand. Most people who come to something like this, they already know they want support, but they're not sure what level of support they're ready for. So, you'll have a clear idea by the end of this. So, welcome. So glad you're here. We're going to start today by just talking a little bit about overwhelm. I just want you to think about that word. I posted something on my Instagram just a little bit ago. It was a mom, and she had like 8,000 things on her back. And then she had like her little kids like hanging on her legs, like saying, Mommy, do you love me? And it just made me think, oh, right. Everyone can relate to this feeling of overwhelm. And many people, maybe you've noticed this, so many people right now, they are just feeling like everything's a chore. Even fun things. I have conversations all the time with people and they're trying to get through this fun thing they're doing. Yeah, because they're feeling overwhelmed, right? How many of you personally or people you know are dealing with, anxiety? And so many people now more than ever just going to the grocery store feels like too much, or being around groups of people that they in the past loved to be around, and now that feels like too much. Maybe you've experienced this. And then we have kind of this world right now of anxiety around health. How many people do you know would say, Yes, I have health anxiety? I mean, a few years ago, health anxiety wasn't even like don't think it was even an expression, but now who doesn't have health anxiety when you talk to people? And this doesn't come from people being broken or dramatic or irrational, but they care about their bodies, they care about living. But I would say almost all of what we're experiencing right now isn't coming from a lack of information. It's coming from too much. Too much, too much, too much, too much, too much. Heather, you can definitely drop in the chat. I love when people chat just for time. Is there something you'd like to share though right now that kind of has to do with what we're saying?
Well, I mean, you probably saw me laughing. It is sensory overload, and I think also no integration time. That's why, matter of fact, it's funny. I started long before COVID, but it's gotten worse in the last 3 years. I've called everything just one big day. Like there's no differential. It's out of
Yeah,
control, and I think that's where the anxiety comes from. Because some of the things we're doing, like you said, grocery store is no big deal, but we're feeling overwhelmed because we don't have those pauses that we need.
I love that. I feel like Heather has been in my notes. Heather, are you on my screen? I love it. Yeah, well said. So going back to this, my mom put in the chat, it's too much. Like honestly, we were never meant to have access to everybody's opinion on planet Earth. We were only supposed to know like six people's opinions, maybe 20 at the most. But we have access now to literally thousands and millions of people's opinions, videos. I mean, there is nothing I could teach you that you can't learn for free out there. I challenge you to look for a video on YouTube that does not already exist. It's all there. Too many posts. How many of you have been on Instagram and you follow all these wellness accounts and healing accounts and emotional coaches and you're like, "Oh, that's so good." And you save it. And you save this and you save that and maybe even share it. But it's like, all these things you have to fix and you have to avoid and it's like, from mold to parasites to like you have to eat this certain way. It's just and notice what you're feeling in your body right now by me just talking about this. How many of you can like resonate with just like, oh, it's too much? And as in most areas of life, when something feels like too much, what do we do instead? Nothing, right? When it's too much, then we just shut down and do nothing. Like Heather said, right? There's not space for the integration piece. Yeah. Or numb, like Mary Jo said, right? We start scrolling. So instead of seeing that like really cool exercise that guy said, if you do this, girl, or well, I guess, hey, Doug, we got a guy in here too. There's an Instagram, right? It says if you do this 100 times a day, you're gonna be like perfecto. But instead of getting up and turning off social media and like doing that 100 times, it's like, seems like a good idea though. All right. So at some point, right, we get to this point where we're like, okay, this is not working. Information overload is not working. I don't need to mass consume more social media, more YouTube, get a book. I don't need any of that anymore. I don't need more strategies. I don't need more protocols. I don't need more things to manage. I need less. So I just want you to think about that for a minute. Like, I want less noise, less fear, less scanning your body all day long. And you want to feel inside of you spacious and also strong so that whatever's happening outside of you, you're okay. You have space for it, you have room for it. So, this is for the person who is ready to just get back to basics, to shut out all the noise and actually live differently without feeling like I have to do everything, a 25-point checklist to be healthy. Yeah. So, kind of just circling back to this concept of support and resources. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, a story about support and resource. And I invite you to pay attention to how you feel in your body, right? We do this a lot in our coaching community. We check in with our physical body a lot because most of us spend all of our time just thinking, which is actually highly overrated. So this is an invitation to pay attention to your body as I tell this story. Let's pretend it's a Sunday afternoon and the roads are deserted and you are driving alone and you come across an accident. It's also a person that is alone and they are hurt. And you have no first aid skills, you have no first aid kit, and you look at your phone and there is no signal. Notice in your body right now, just pause and notice like, what does that feel like in your body? What's coming up for you? Maybe you want to drop it in the chat. What does that feel like to have no support and no resources in this very important moment? Yeah. Is it Kara? Is it Kara or Kara? I want to pronounce it right.
It's Kara.
Kara. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. A jump in the belly, pressure in chest, worried and overwhelmed, adrenaline, anxiety, fear. My chest tightened up and I started breathing faster. This is a good example of our mind body connection, right? That our body's very literal. It does not understand if something is real or false. Obviously, logically, you knew this was just a story I was telling you about your physical body's taking everything literally. All right. So, would you say these bodily sensations are pleasant or unpleasant? Like expansive or kind of contracting? What do they feel like in your body? That's right. Right? Unpleasant, contracting, no bueno. Yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm going to invite you just to kind of shake that off. That was just a pretend story. This is not happening. Just let your body know, like, okay, no, that's not actually happening. This is what's happening now. It's a new story. It's a Sunday afternoon. The roads are all deserted, and you are driving down the road in an ambulance because you are an EMT. And you're not only an EMT, but you've got your EMT buddy right next to you. And you are driving down the deserted road and you see that there is a car, an accident, and there is someone injured. And you are in an ambulance and you are an EMT, and you've also got your buddy who's an EMT right next to you. What does it feel like now coming on to this accident? Notice your body now. Beautiful. Notice that, right? It's like, oh, guided. Like I know what to do. Adrenaline, but like in the good way. Like, okay, let's do what we know how to do. Ready, safer. Yeah, definitely. And like an almost excited feeling. Heart is racing. Probably like every time a fireman goes into a fire, his heart is racing, right? Because it's like there's a kind of a jittery feeling when you're going into to save the day. Let's do this deeper breathing. All right, so what we can see here is a very clear distinction between what is it like in life when you show up as supported and resourced versus what does it feel like in life when you feel unsupported and unresourced? We've just described the exact same event. But the difference is one was resourced, one had support, and one didn't. So this is what can change for us in a practical sense now. I'm not saying any of us need to go become EMTs and like buy an ambulance, but let's bring this into like practical life. Like, what does this look like in real life? Let's take symptoms for an example. When you are resourced, when you understand your body and what your body is doing and why it's doing, and it's always doing things for a meaningful reason, symptoms all of a sudden don't feel so scary. Symptoms don't feel like such an emergency. Symptoms start to feel like information for you instead of a threat. I would even venture to say that in my case, symptoms now feel like this kind of like very interesting like feeling of curiosity to get to know myself better. This is what feeling supported and resourced feels like when you have symptoms. So it doesn't mean we will no longer have any symptoms. And if you ever are signing up with a health coach who's promising you a symptom-free life, please don't give them your money. Right? We're always going to have symptoms. Yes, we can definitely make some shifts and we work on those together so we have less symptoms. But as long as we're alive, our body's going to keep working and responding and adapting. And so, but symptoms, when you're resourced and supported, they're not scary. They're not an emergency. They're just information for you. They're an invitation to look at something in your life that might need some extra support, some new patterns. So this ties into health anxiety as well, right? When you're supported, when you're resourced, you're no longer like constantly scanning your body or Googling every little sensation, or now we have all the AIs can give you partially accurate and partially inaccurate information because now you're not afraid of your body. You understand that it is wise. You guys just experienced how wise your body is. I just told a story and your body got prepared. Like, how amazing is that? Like, heart rate's elevated. That's because your body is wise and it's always listening. And once you're resourced with this true, like, belief in your body, it won't scare you anymore. You'll understand it. You'll even, I would say, just be kind of awed by it. Some people come to our community because they're looking to maybe improve relationships. When you are resourced, you feel worthy. You stop worrying so much about losing people because you know your worth and you know the people that you're meant to be around and who love you deeply, they're going to want to be with your authentic self. So when you are resourced, relationships become more authentic, they become more real, they become deeper. Some people come to our community because they're basically going through life feeling judged all the time. Just feel like they're just being judged. This is how they've gone through life. When you are resourced, you start to understand your value. You start to understand who you are. You kind of have this North Star that's inside of you that says, no matter what other people say, no matter what other people do, I'm resourced. I have this thing inside of me I can go to, and it's okay. It's okay for other people to have opinions. I'm not going to say that people will never judge you again. What I'm saying is when you're resourced, it's okay. It feels totally different. So when we are supported, when we are resourced, we're having the exact same life, but it's a very different experience. And this is an invitation to each of you to think like, wow, in what area of my life could I use more resources, more support, so that life is still lifing, but that I feel differently about it. It's okay. I'm okay. Yeah. And I'll just take a little pause here just to kind of catch my breath and also just welcome those who have been coming in. Just because this isn't very long tonight, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And there'll be a playback so you can just kind of watch it backwards, watch the end, and then go back and watch the beginning. So, welcome. I'm really glad everyone is here. All right. I would love just to take this minute and this moment and just take a minute or two and just hear from you. What's landing? What makes sense? What feels like an aha moment for you? Maybe you've experienced this in your life on some level. I have a few ladies here that are actually in my in our coaching community. So I just want to shout out to them, say thank you for being here. Good. Any questions so far? All right. If you have a question, you can drop in the chat. I'm checking it. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Heather's like, how do we contact you? Yay. I want you to contact me. I am going to drop my email in the chat and anyone who wants to explore more after we can start an email conversation and then go from there. So let me just take this last few minutes. I'm not here to sell anything. Well, I am here to sell something. That's not true, but I'm not here to sell you. I'm looking for people that this is what they want. Like they're like, this is what I want. I want support and I want to feel resourced. This is what I'm looking for. So, Resourced is my group coaching community, and it's 6 months long. So, why 6 months? It takes some time to reprogram your subconscious, right? So, we have all these very old programs in our brain that they were mainly installed when we were children. Say most of our programming was already by 7 years old. So I always laugh because I'm like, yeah, a 6-year-old just made that decision for me. I can tell. Yeah. So we have all this old programming and it's excellent programming. It really served us when we were kids. It got us through, elementary school and junior high and high school. And probably most of you are past your 20s. That programming helped us out. But the thing is that we never really update our programs. So we're running on kind of like old programs. And when you look at your life now and you look at your life then, you're like, oh, I have a totally different life now. I need new programs. And this takes some time, right? This is not like, in 21 days, you're going to become. How many of you have done a new habit for 21 days and then it still didn't stick? I mean, I've exercised for 21 days straight, and then on day 37, I missed it, and then I missed 2 years after that. So I question that 21-day thing. So I find like 6 months isn't forever. So it doesn't feel like a forever commitment, but it's long enough to see real change in your brain. Yeah. So in this container, we meet every week. That is right now, it's Mondays at 6 Central. So it's kind of the same time. So that's 4 West Coast and then 7 East Coast. Yeah. So we meet weekly for about an hour to an hour and a half. So there's one session we do a month that's an hour and a half, a little bit extra. And it's interesting what Heather said earlier because, yes, we do a little learning, but what is far more important than learning is the integration, is the implementation. Because I would just say, like we talked about earlier, right? Like, I mean, a lot of you could probably already write your own book. I mean, people out there, they know lots of stuff about healing and psychology and health. And so they know a lot, but they don't know how to implement. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to make a real shift in their life. So these sessions aren't about me like making you take like notes and you're no. It's about, hey, let's learn a little bit and then let's integrate it. How does this become a part of your life and become a part of who you are so that it actually shifts something in your life? And these sessions, I've been in many group programs. These sessions are also not, although they're interactive, they're also not people coming into the group and telling everyone all their problems. Because I've been in groups like that. We're not seeking problems in this community. We are seeking solutions. Yeah, yeah. We're seeking, yes, some support, people that can save space for us, but also people who call us to a higher self, that call us out of victimhood and say, yes, that's terrible. I love you. I see you. I'm so sorry. That wasn't right. And now what? Right? Because we've done that other path. Yeah. Another thing we do in these kind of weekly meetups is this is where we're starting to build these internal resources. So your emotions, old triggers, symptoms, they just all start to kind of lose their power. You start to lose all that fear because you step into this place of understanding and feeling resourced. Just like that EMT who pulls up is resourced. He knows what to do on the inside. He has everything he needs. That's what you want to feel like. I have everything I need right here inside of me, which we always have had. We just didn't really know how to tap into it. And then with all the noise, it gets pretty buried. Yeah. So, resourced isn't about more information, it's about being resourced. It's about connecting to that North Star inside of you so that no matter what life throws your way, you're okay. And better than okay. I always like to use the expression, do you want to suffer less? Like imagine suffering less. Imagine maybe even tapping into joy and happiness and like enjoying going to the grocery store, enjoying going to a group event, enjoying putting something together. When you are resourced and feel supported, you can start tapping into those higher frequencies, not just kind of like the survival, very low frequency. Yeah. So I have different levels of support, right? We have our group only coaching resourced. This is for you if you're just looking for like consistent, ongoing support, a place to just land each week and be held. And if you've kind of lost your way, to be brought back to your center and reminded of what really matters to you. We also have a community part of it, right? So where you can come in and you can comment and you can drop pictures or comments. But the truth is I don't tend to attract fluff people. So I don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't want, we all have so much to do. I don't want this to be like more stuff you got to do and keep up. No, it's not that kind of group either. So there's space for you to come in and interact, but there's also no pressure or requirements or guilt. It's like whatever you need, there's space for that. So if you need more, there's space for that. And if you need less, there's space for that too. And that's on purpose. I've been in groups where there's like 17 things going on every week. And for me, I need less, but I need something real. And that's what this is. It's less, but it's real. If you do it, it's very, very real. Yeah. Then we have private coaching, right? So most of my clients are in like a hybrid. So they're in the group, but they're also getting private coaching 1 to 2 times a month. I used to do weekly. I don't do weekly anymore because there's not time for integration. So we do our session, and then it's like you need time to actually let your body, let your brain, let your neural pathways integrate. Otherwise, it's kind of just like scrolling on Instagram. It's just too much. Yeah. So private coaching or the hybrid where you get both would be best for people who want more individualized attention, right? It also includes like where you can send me messages in between sessions. This is for people who have specific symptoms that they want to get to the root cause of them and they want to support their body so that their body no longer needs to run that program. And or maybe some life situations that are more private to you and maybe a little more tender. And so you need that kind of high level support and yeah, safety. So this is a much higher level of support. I will say this: we actually just talked about this yesterday in our group session, like how doing them both together is phenomenal, honestly, because the group gives you what the private can't give you, and the private gives you what the group can't give you, right? So they're a beautiful match. But for some people coming in to just the group setting and just getting the vibe and kind of getting to know me better and saying, like, I don't know if this is the person that I'd like to coach me, but being in the group gives you a chance to experience it. And maybe group is enough. And you're like, oh, this is everything I needed. It's perfect. And then maybe after a little bit in the group, you're like, oh, no, I want to do some private coaching too. Then there'll be an invitation for that. So, no rules, no pressure. These are the ways that you can work with me. There is an offer going on right now. So my prices in 2026 are going up, especially for private coaching. So just kind of accessing the past 2 years of my life. And it's like, okay, yeah, private coaching is such a deep, uh, I don't want to say heavy, but it's a very heavy, but in a positive way, space for me. So private coaching is going to become a lot more precious for me. So I'm going to be upping my prices in 2026 for that. So as long as you get on board before then, you will get locked in at the 2025 prices, which I am happy to share with everyone who is interested. So I am going to drop my email right here in the chat. And I am not the kind of person that likes people to make a decision today. Because something I'm super proud of in our coaching containers is that everyone who signs up with me does it. And I feel so proud of that. My mom can attest to this. We used to have a gym, and if you had 500 members, like maybe 150 people showed up. So I love having a business where when people sign up, they do it. Like they're in it. If they sign up for 6 months, they're there for 6 months. And I love that. And that says so much about our community and the value and the changes and shifts that you're going to get in your life. All right. So if you follow me on Instagram, I know some of you are invites on Instagram. I know some of you were invited here. So just a thank you to whoever shared this with someone and they came. I am so grateful and honored just to share this little bit of time with you. Also, I am going to do another one of these on Friday. So this Friday, the 26th, at the same time, I'm going to be doing this again because a lot of people reached out to me and they were like, I can't make Tuesday work. So if this was interesting to you, if you were like, oh my God, I want to do this with my friend, invite them for Friday. It'll be the same Zoom link. Or maybe you're like, this isn't for me at this time, but I think so and so would love this. Then please invite them. I am eternally grateful because thanks to all of you, we can change another person's life, because this really can change someone's life. And my email is coaching@rootwellnesssolutions.com. And if you are interested in exploring more, send me an email. And I'm putting this on you because I look to work with people who want this. I can't want this more than you can. How many of you have wanted something more than the person that you wanted it for? And I Yeah. Gwen's like, been there, done that. Or did you want to share something, Gwen? Yeah. We've been there, right? And it's like, oh, that's not the kind of people I coach. I coach the kind of people who reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm ready. What are we doing? How can I make this work?" Yeah. Good. Beautiful. So my desire for everyone is to be able to feel this feeling of supported, resourced inside of themselves so that they can go out into life and be with people and do things and enjoy it. They can learn to say yes when they want to say yes. They can learn to say no and feel completely at ease around it. People that get a symptom and they're totally chill about it because they know why their body's doing this and their body's doing it on purpose because it's adapting to the circumstance and now it's healing up and they're this is such a joyful, beautiful way to live life, and it's available to every single one of you. So, this is an invitation to send me an email so we can start a conversation and send me any questions. I'm pretty nice. So, you can send me any question and I'm happy to answer it. And yeah, if I know some of you, I said 30 minutes, so we've been a little bit over. Would any of you like to hear from like some of the ladies that are in the group? Would that be helpful to you? Do you have just like a few more minutes? And I'm totally putting these girls on the spot. So if either of you would like to share like what your experience with the group or the private coaching has been, then I would be grateful because then they're like, although they could think I paid for you to be here, but I didn't. Do you want to share, Sue?
Sure. Um, okay, so probably the most significant, I'll share that because it's something a lot of people deal with. So for about 40 years, I had reactions, what I thought was chemical sensitivity. And my symptoms ranged from a headache to being debilitated, to be in bed for a few days, really a lot of symptoms. I couldn't think because the front of my brain would be affected because I was being exposed. I mean, the symptoms can go on. And if anyone knows anyone that has what they consider to be chemical sensitivity, you can understand. So, coaching with Melissa and finding out why my body was reacting, what was happening, where it started through our sessions, discovering where it started and why would my body do that, and why would my body do it to fragrances but not other chemicals, and getting to the root cause of that. I do not have symptoms like that anymore. Like I'm not 40 years I lived with that. 40 years. And now if there's a strong fragrance, nobody likes a really strong fragrance, right? So it's almost like a normal reaction, but I don't get debilitated. I just went to an assembly with 700 people before it would have been a challenge. Um, so it's not the same reaction. I'm not debilitated anymore. And that's probably the most significant. There's other things as well, but and it was because of finding out why my body was doing that and it's because it was a safety thing and why my body was. So just learning that and then how to handle that. And now I don't have that issue like that. It's been life changing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Sue, thank you so much for sharing that. And this is an example, right, of getting the support you need, but then getting resourced. So this is an example of what it's like to be resourced because now inside of her body, she knows she's safe now. She knows that that has nothing to do with present life. And so once you have that resource inside of you, your body can turn off these programs. And you guys just all lived this firsthand when we did the whole car accident thing. In the first setting, because you weren't resourced and you didn't have support, your body responded in a contracting way, right? You all felt it, like whether it was your gut or your heart or, the adrenaline, but like nervous, upset. That's one way your body could respond. But now we have the exact same instance, but now that you're resourced, your physical body responds in a completely different way. It was like, oh, we're an EMT. Like, we know how to do stuff. And so we show up to the accident and how the body responds in a completely different way. And that's why these like symptoms that seem strongly entrenched with just the right resource, with the right information and support, your body can respond totally differently, right? And what has that opened up for Sue? More joy, more happiness, being around people and not like any of you have dealt with chemical sensitivity. I know I have, I know Mary Jo has. Like it really rains on your life. Like it rains on the parade. And it makes it hard to have relationships with people, right? Because they like put gel in their hair, right? And it's like I can't be friends with someone who puts gel in their hair. But it's so lovely. Once your resource support is like, oh, it all changes, it all becomes softer, easier. Um, yeah, so thank you, Sue. Beautiful. Mary Jo, is there anything you want to share? You totally don't have to share.
Yeah, I also had the similar problem that Sue had, and realizing it was something that happened in my childhood and it was controlling me this whole time was pretty mind blowing because it was pretty much instant. I mean, I had to keep reminding myself that, hey, I'm safe. This smell is not going to hurt me. But it's just amazing how smells control you so much. And also, there's been a lot of things that I've learned through Melissa. And one of the main things that's been like mind blowing is childhood traumas and realizing that you're bleeding onto other people, the things that have been done to you, until you realize that that's what was going on. You're able to close that door and be yourself and not worry about what's going to happen. And it's not going to happen because either that person's gone or you're in charge of your life now. So, along with many other things, it's been just super, super impactful in my life.
You girls are the best. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's vulnerable and not easy, so I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone here really appreciates it as well. And I think what Mary Jo just said just really confirms what we were saying earlier about us having these old programs that we set up in childhood, but they never really get upgraded. You know, because when we turn 21 years old, no one sits down with us and says, "Okay, like you're in this big shift in life and the stuff that happened back there, it's never going to happen again. So let's update some programs." None of us experienced that. We didn't. Nobody knew how to do that, but now we do. And so this is an invitation to just imagine what's possible for you. I always tell people, like, I don't care what you've been told. I don't care what you've been told. It's possible. So even symptoms that people come to me with and they're just like, "Oh no, it's like I don't care what you've been told." Yeah, because so much more than we could ever imagine is possible. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks to everyone who joined us. I will be sending out the replay. So, if I don't already have your contact info, please email me coaching@rootwellnesssolutions.com, or if you have a friend that invited you, reach out to them and they can get us connected. So, thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. You're welcome.